So not a lot to report so far, folks. We've been really enjoying this beaten path that's maybe a little bit more than halfway down the escarpment. We stopped for lunch and hiked for, I don't know, maybe another kilometer-ish. Stopped for a few photos, but of course, in true PUD fashion, what goes down must inevitably come back up. So I'll take you along a little bit for some of the climb here. It's not too bad though. I think both Rob and I have slowed down some. Definitely see how this would have been water runoff. It's definitely more rocky than earlier. Not that it's difficult, but just a little tougher on the feet and whatnot. Shot of the ravine. A little bit more water. Not much to collect from so far. And away we go. Got some interesting rock face coming up. We just hit the approximate halfway mark of our intended mark today. So we got about another 10 kilometers to go. Not a big chunk, and that one is certainly at least geologically more recent than all the other moss covered ones. It does make you wonder when the last chunk took a tumble. Does look a little menacing, doesn't it? All right, boys and girls, so even though you might be out for a day hike and there's the dangers and things that I already mentioned that you should be on the lookout for in terms of tree roots and rocks and everything else so that you don't stumble and take yourself out at the knees, but there's also things like this. So that's what we first see, and you can kind of see that it's not really growing out of the ground anymore, and we follow that trunk up and we see that it's leaning up against another tree. Not only that, but there's another limb that I'm not sure if that's loose or not. So, different perspective. Yeah, that's a little dangerous. So, just be mindful of dangers on the ground and dangers above your head. We've seen a few other trees that were just like huge limbs that were suspended between two trees, and others that are like leaning well off its roots, and just seems as though they would fall and collapse at any moment. So yeah, fun. Anywho, we are somewhere in and around Winona, so it's a little hamlet of sorts between Grimsby and Stoney Creek, and we've been kind of debating just how far to go today, as we're still both recovering, and it's a little muddy and just a little tired, but it's still a nice day for a hike. Outside of that one conservation area that we hiked through, the Beamer, I haven't seen anybody on the trail really, and so it's kind of nice. Had to cross a couple roads, but yeah, other than that, it's kind of nice to have the trails for ourselves. Saw one very interesting footprint in the mud, so I took a photo of it, and I'll put it here, see if anybody can guess what that is. My guess is pine marten, but I could be wrong. Yeah, what do you think? Let me know. I kind of want to take out that little wedge part. All right, folks, so we've been hiking for about 7.5 hours, and we are going to get to a point in Fruitland where there's a couple of roadside parking areas, and that's where we're going to call it quits for the day. It's 5 o'clock, and although we have daylight still, I'm pooped. My knees are screaming. My feet are sore, but they're not that bad. Rob's holding it together very well.
Doing good over here.
So he says. Nice. Anyways, but I wanted to get this on video because in the middle of nowhere, there's this few trees that have these white leaves, and everything else is all bare. But it was just really pretty. A little bit of a so-called send-off before we exit the trail. Got about another kilometer or so in, or to go. Very nice. So the path is quite muddy in places here. Still a few ups and downs, but quite manageable normally, I would say. Lots of trees that look like they're about to fall anytime. So, unless there's something exciting coming up, offhand I don't think there is, I'm going to say that's probably going to be our send-off for the day. So please like, subscribe, hit that bell, and if Rob gets his own channel, I'll let you know what that is so you can follow along with him. He's thinking about it. And questions, concerns, comments, put those in the comment section below. A link to the AllTrails recording will be in the video description below as well. Gear lists, other adventures available on other videos on the channel here, as well as on the website, trilliumhikes.ca. I am Mike, that's Rob, and we're signing off. Hope, as always, to see you out on the trail, folks. Until next time.